What's up, YouTube? It's Mike here, back with another video. If you guys haven't noticed, this is like my new intro outro spot. I really dig it. I can kind of sit right in front of the tank. Anyway, welcome to another video. Thank you guys as always for watching them. I ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell for notifications, and if you like the video, please like the video. This one, I'm gonna be working more on the 600 gallon. As I mentioned in the last video, I have a background, so that came in this week. So we're gonna work on the background for the 600, but I also have another little project for the 1100 that I'm working on to keep some bullies in temporarily. So let's jump right into it. Today's goal is to make a big floating cage for the 1100, but I need to make a cage, a temporary solution to my aggression problems for the platinum alligator gar. So I'm gonna basically make as big of a cage as I can kind of fit in there for him so he's not cramped, but something I can temporarily use to hold him. Again, I will stress it's just temporary until I get him into a different tank setup. So for now, we're gonna do this, and I figured it'd be a cool little video too to show building a cage. I stole this design mostly from Kevin at the Center for Stingray Biology. He's got a bunch of these cages that he's made, although his don't float, mine will float, that's the difference. So pretty much stole that design from him. I'm gonna do it a little differently, but it's gonna be pretty damn close to how he's got his set up. So you will see that come along right now. So I'm just going to use the tiles to measure this out. It's going to be 5 foot long approximately, 5 foot long, 2 foot deep, and about 3.5 foot wide is my goal. So somewhere around there. Got the bottom frame banged together, and you'll see this is all going to kind of hold itself together once it's all wrapped. And I've got a big sheet of polycarbonate for the bottom, so that's going to kind of really tie it all together too. And we're going to zip tie it all together, and I think it's going to be plenty strong enough. So these sheets are kind of expensive. It was like a little over 80 bucks, but I'll get use out of the other piece of it also. I can use it for lids and whatnot. I'm sure it'll go to good use. So I figured it was worth it. So I'm gonna cut this as the bottom, and I think I gotta add T's in the middle here just to support the bottom a little bit better. We'll see how that comes along. So I had a slight lack of planning, and I didn't have the T's I needed for this, and I actually didn't have enough 3/4 either, but I did have a bunch of other stuff lying around. So I converted a T, a 3/4 inch T to 1/2 inch T, and used that for my center brace for this. And then this is actually gonna go on the inside, but I'm gonna drill all the holes like this while it's on its bottom kind of thing, just to make it easier for me to drill them, and then I'm gonna flip it around and zip tie it all together. So the bottom is all done. I like how it came out, just so you guys can get a kind of a look at how I did it in case you guys wanted to try to do something like this. You could do it on a smaller scale or on a larger scale. And now I've got netting from my project that I was gonna use for my arowanas that I changed my mind about. So I'm gonna wrap this in netting for the sides, and then you will see how I get it to float after we're done with the netting. So I didn't bother to film all the zip tying, but there was a lot of zip tying to do this. This is golf ball netting. I don't know if I mentioned that before, so it's plenty strong enough to hold the fish. However, I would worry a little bit about something possibly getting caught on it. I'm hoping nothing like that happens. I've seen people do this before. Worst case scenario, I'll add a screen instead of this net, and the screen would make it a lot harder for anything to ever get stuck on it or anything like that. And the way I'm going to make it float is I bought pool noodles. Surprise, surprise, the pool noodles are going to fit really good, and I'll just have those at the top. The real possibility is obviously something could possibly jump out, so like that gator could possibly jump out of this. I realize that that's possible. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping he doesn't, but you know, I acknowledge that it's very possible he might jump out. So I'm going to add the rest of the pool noodles around all four sides and zip tie those, and then we're going to try it out. Well, it's been a day later because I had to look at it after I finished it and kind of think about it a little bit more before throwing it in the tank. What I ended up doing was I made it shallower. I cut it down 6 inches. It was just way too big. It would have fit in the tank, but it's going to literally take up all of the tank, and it's not what I want. I think it could be a hazard to the other fish if it's too big. So I think making it shallower will be safer for the other fish. And then I always have to acknowledge the possibility, no matter how deep or shallow it is, that the fish can get out of it. They could easily jump out of it. I realize that's not impossible. I don't think the ray is gonna be able to jump out of it. I don't think he's gonna slide over. He could, but I just don't think he will. But I do think that there's good chances the gator will jump out of this. Whatever, I'm gonna try it anyway. So let's try to put it in the tank, see how it fits, see how it looks. Now the hard part. Now we're gonna try to catch these guys. Really hard part. So I can kind of already read the comments in my head about this one. I know that people are going to have a lot of concerns. I think that the net is tight enough that I will not have any problems with fish getting stuck in it, but I do acknowledge that that is always a possibility. It is like a rubberized, or like it's kind of like a polycarbonate type material, so it's not a cloth netting. Less likely for something to get stuck, and again, it's very, very tight. So I think we're okay on that, and I can't stress enough that it's super temporary situation for these guys. It's just to keep that new big female Matoro stingray safe. She was just getting attempted to be mated far too much, and it was a little bit too much aggression. Separate them for now until I can get her over to the big tank, and separate that alligator gar for now, at least to give some of my cats some time to heal, take a little stress off them, and make the situation a little bit better. So again, I'm sure that they are not terribly happy to be in there, but they do have a lot of room to swim and move around. At least it's not this tiny little cage for them. And now all the other fish can chill. For the most part, these guys are just going to stay on the bottom, so not really a concern there. I am a little bit worried about this Florida gar, which I'll be moving over to the 1500 very shortly. He could possibly get caught on the net. Other than that, I don't think anything else could really get caught. And nothing else really comes up enough that I think I have to worry about it again. Yeah, if you guys want to make one of these, I do recommend it. You could use them in a lot of different situations for a lot of different fish. Obviously, be careful with them. The other thing I tried to be careful with is the zip ties. A lot of times when you cut zip tie ends, they can be sharp, so I did my best to cut those off flush and make sure that there's no really sharp ones, and try to kind of point them in directions where the fish would not likely rub up against them. So yeah, keep that in mind, the zip tie thing, and it is a netting, so we got to be careful, but for the most part, it gets the job done. And it's tough to see. She has about 3 bite marks on the disc, and a bunch back here from where he was trying to mate her. That's a pretty good one that he got out of her, and I saw him actually trying to flip her over. Again, I don't know if he was ever successful with mating her or not. It's not even that I would mind if they did mate, it's just I really don't want her getting hurt, so I don't want to stress her out in any way. She's been doing well in here, she's been eating, but I don't like my fish to have any injuries. I do acknowledge that if I ever want to breed stingrays someday, I will have to allow the females to take some damage from the males. That's part of the mating process. However, I really don't like to see it, and I don't want that for her, at least not right now. So, this guy gets a little bit of a cage, and he'll do just fine. I've had him for like 3 years now, and he's been doing really well. He's super active no matter where I put him, and he's always an aggressive eater, so I don't think that this is going to affect him in any way negatively. He's probably just going to act the same, and the alligator's going to have to get over it, and I'm just defrosting some tilapia in the tank now. So that is it for this project, and that is pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys can take some of these ideas and use them as well, although nothing new. Again, I took these ideas from other people, so nothing new, no kind of like DIY, this is how to do this is how to do that. There's better ways to do things, obviously. But yeah, I tried to throw a few things together this week, and maybe you guys can use them in your fish rooms if necessary. Although I hope you don't get any kind of bully fish that you really need to separate. Ideally, you won't have that problem. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I thank you as always for watching. I ask you to, again, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything. Follow me on Instagram at Off the Deep End Aquatics, and I will see you guys in that next video. Thanks.